This episode of the Summer of Science series is brought to you by Thermo Fisher Scientific, Hedrick Industries, Lancaster Law Firm, Baker Grading and Landscaping, Duke Energy Foundation, and Holston Gases. If you would like to also support the Asheville Museum of Science, you can text AMOS STEM to 44321 or reach us online at ashevillescience.org/support-us. Thank you. Welcome back to the Asheville Museum of Science Summer of Science series. I'm Stephen Forbes, the Director of Development, and we have another episode of Meet the Educator, and with us today is Melody Hollinger. Melody's been with us for a little bit of time now, and she's going to be able to introduce herself and what she likes about working at AMOS and her interest in science. So, Melody, welcome to Summer of Science.
Thank you so much for having me, Stephen. I'm very excited to share some of my love of science and our museum with some of our supporters at home.
So tell us, how did you first start working at AMOS?
I actually started volunteering back when the Asheville Museum of Science was in Pack Place as the Colburn Earth and Mineral Science Museum. I attended science pubs there. I helped transfer for the move to come back over to move into our new space over here right along Patton Avenue. As soon as a position opened up at the front desk for a front desk associate, I put in my resume, applied, and now work at the museum. Since then, I've grown in my role to be an educator, help run programming. Some of you might recognize me from birthday parties. I'm currently helping to draft our health and safety protocols as we seek to reopen our museum and welcome the public back into our educational space as quickly and safely as we can.
Well, that is happy to have you. We're going to take our first break right here and thank our sponsors. We'll be right back. The AMOS Summer of Science series is brought to you by Thermo Fisher Scientific. Thermo Fisher is the world leader in serving science. Their mission is to enable customers to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Thermo Fisher Scientific, step up, step beyond. More information at thermofisher.com. And Hedrick Industries, standing for quality and commitment to service. hedrickind.com. The Duke Energy Foundation, committed to making strategic investments to build powerful communities where nature and wildlife thrive, students can excel, and a talented workforce drives economic prosperity for all. Duke-energy.com. And Baker Grading and Landscaping, changing the landscape while keeping with nature's flow. bakergrading.com. Lancaster Law Firm, real estate attorneys for realtors, lenders, and homeowners. lancasterlawfirm.com. Holston Gases, your independent supplier of industrial, medical, propane, and beverage gases. holstongases.com. And member and donor support from people like you. Welcome back to the Asheville Museum of Science Summer of Science series. We are doing another episode of Meet the Educator with Melody Hollinger. And Melody, we wanted to ask you, what were some of your early influences in science?
For as long as I can remember, I feel like I was one of those math science kids before I realized that science is everywhere, as is art, which is why I love the term STEAM. But specifically, when I was in 8th grade, I had an amazing science teacher. Mrs. Dickert dressed up like Alfred Wagner to teach us about tectonic plates. She read us hard science fiction, and nonfiction books. She got me into science club and kind of set me up with this attitude to love learning as I progressed through high school and college.
And speaking of college, you have a degree in archaeology, right? So where did you go to school and what did you do with that after you graduated?
I went to Penn State because I decided in like 8th grade that I was going to be an archaeologist, and Penn State was one of 2 schools in Pennsylvania, only a couple in the country, that has an archaeological science program as opposed to a BA in anthropology, focus in archaeology. So I was very excited to go. My mother and several people that I knew were always like, Melody, don't do archaeology. You should go do early childhood education. You're going to burn out on archaeology. Just go teach kids. And I was like, Don't be crazy. And I got my degree in archaeology, and I went out to California, and I spent 5 years being an archaeologist, and I was like, oh, yeah, I think what I would like to do, rather than working as a government contract cultural resource management specialist, I'd much rather come talk to people about my love of science and help inspire a younger generation to love learning.
And one of the things you get to do with AMOS is you get to work with our Little Explorers Club. Now that we're doing this digitally, can you talk to us about what the LEC is and how we've been able to transition from having an in-person Little Explorers Club to doing it online?
It was rather tricky. I love the tiny ones. The preschoolers are just watching someone learn something is real magic. And you get to experience that every day with a preschooler. It's so wonderful. Their minds are like sponges, and they are very experiential in their learning. They want to be hands-on. They want to be with other kids. It's the best way for them to learn. And not being able to bring them into our space has been a difficult challenge to overcome. But we have tried to use the internet to connect with our wee ones in a video. We prefer the live format so that ideally then our preschoolers can engage with each other as readily as they can engage with us. Heavy focus on visuals, and we always read a storybook for our young friends. And we try to do experiments and activities that look cool on screen and that you can then do in your own home, so that you can still do science with an educator, even though we cannot welcome you here to learn with us.
So learning is still hands-on and learning is still interactive. It's just...
Yes, that's our aim, is to make it as interactive and hands-on experiential as we can for our little friends.
Well, thank you, Melody. We're going to take another quick break right here. We're going to hear a special message from our board president, Rachel Sparks, and we'll be right back.
Thank you for tuning in to the AMOS Summer of Science series. I'm Rachel Sparks, board president for the Asheville Museum of Science. We're excited to share this series with friends and supporters. During the pandemic, it's important that we use digital technology to continue the mission of AMOS to spark curiosity and a lifelong love of learning. AMOS has shared online programs like our Daily Doses of Science and Ask the Scientist over 115,000 times, with over 3,000 science explorers during quarantine. The Summer of Science series will share important science curriculum, and I encourage your support of our programs. Temporarily closing the museum has had a significant impact on our services and our finances, so I'm asking for your support with a donation of $40. That can sponsor 25 online engagements in STEM learning. Some can give more and some less, and any amount you can give will be very helpful. Please go online to ashevillescience.org/support-us or text the number on your screen to donate. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to the Summer of Science series. We're talking with one of our educators, Melody Hollinger. And Melody, you have a lot to do with our museum store. So tell us more about the museum store. We are open. Tell us when people can come out and check out our store and what we have to offer at the museum.
So keeping up our retail space and our online shopping availability has been a priority during these challenging times. Currently, during phase 3, while we cannot open our exhibit halls to the public as a museum, we are working to still be open and inviting, and the first phase of our reopening was our retail space, is here in our museum shop. So we are currently open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoons, but we are actually hoping to expand that this upcoming weekend. I'm not sure the exact hours of that, but we'll be aiming for more of a 6 or 7 hour day instead of just the 5 hours. So as we look to expand our shop hours, we are also aiming to expand our merchandise selection. Our merchandiser and purchaser, Nari Elliott, does an amazing job getting in fun stuff like the light brights and the local artists, the new local artists that we have in addition to our standby favorites. She has got such a larger selection of gems and minerals available. We have multiple kinds of break your own geodes depending on your price range and interest level. And we are looking to expand our merchandise further down into the lobby area with some moving carts. So we've got stuff for kids, we've got stuff for adult learners, we've got nostalgic toys, we've got local artwork, keychains, magnets, all the fun souvenir-y things as well. And the things that are available here in our physical store, which you can now visit on the weekends, is available in our online shop where we offer delivery or curbside pickup.
And we have a lot of educational material too. Just about everything in the museum store is great. But
we aim for it. We absolutely aim to be educational in some aspect with everything we get in.
So we have some science kits. We have books. Can you tell us about some of those?
We have got so many books. That's really encouraging. We have the pop open touch and feel basic, I think they're called board books for the tiny ones. But we also have books that are more appropriate to elementary learners. We have narrative. We have the Smithsonian Gem and Mineral Guides that might be interesting to an adolescent or an adult gem and mineral hunter. Part of why we exist is because Western North Carolina has some amazing rocks and minerals that you can just find in your own backyard or out when you're hiking at a local park. Do not take things from public land that is not legal or ethical.
Just a moment ago, you were talking about our reopening plan, about how we have a phased reopening. Can you tell us more about museum safety and what our plan is to reopen the museum?
Well, we have been aligning our policies and procedures as we develop them to align with all of the local, state, and federal health safety officials and their guidance. We have been looking to other museums and similar educational institutions in our industry so that we can better understand what their approach is, since we are all going through the same pandemic. We are well stocked on our CDC approved cleaners and sanitizers. We have been gobbling up alcohol wipes as they have become available for us because it's so important to keep our students safe. The health and safety of our members, students, communities is paramount importance to us. We want to, as a science museum, make evidence-based decisions that keep our supporters safe while allowing us to help share our love of science and learning with kids who I think need it now more than ever.
That is so true. Let me ask one last thing. What do our members and visitors have to look forward to when we do reopen?
I think we have so much to look forward to. We are currently updating exhibits in our Hall of Minerals in our hallway. We have painted educational information along the walls of our STEM lab. Our excellent muralist, Alex, has been coming in to finish our biology and ecology mural that spans from the toddler nest over past the slide. We are developing a whole range of new curriculum, both to accommodate incredibly limited capacity in-person student workshops and camps, as well as virtual curriculum, keeping up with our awesome Ask a Scientist series, developing new virtual series like this one to engage all members of our audience, not just the young learners, but science lovers of all ages.
Well, Mel, I know that we are pleased and privileged to have you as one of our educators, one of our scientists, and thank you for your enthusiasm and thank you for your support of the Asheville Museum of Science.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to share my love of AMOS with the internet. Thank you so much, Stephen. Hope you have a good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everyone.